Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for I.O. I'm just using your initials for privacy purposes, so congratulations so far on a very strong score. So you got 26 points on the reading, 22 points on the listening, 19 points on the speaking, and 21 points on the writing. So you say, I want to note the examiner forgot to give paper and pencil to take notes on the listening, so I completed it just by keeping things in my mind. So yeah, you could probably do better than that. You say, I believe I can do better at the reading and listening sections easily, but as I'm already a teaching assistant, I need to improve my speaking and writing to apply to some better positions and need a more competitive score. So you say, I can study 4 hours a day on average. Which guide should I use to get the most for my work? Thank you very much in advance. Okay, now keep this in mind. Once you become one of my students, you will have complete unlimited access to all of my lessons. That means all my vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar lessons, all of my reading and listening lessons, and my speaking and writing ones. So, what I'm going to recommend for you is this. I'm going to recommend my 60-day TOEFL writing and speaking study guide. That one will focus more in the writing and the speaking areas. Of course, it'll also give you some practice with grammar and also with pronunciation. And if you want to do any other areas, you can do that. But your speaking, you got to get better than 19, right? So, and also your writing. So I think if you focus on my 60-day writing and speaking study guide, it focuses more in the speaking and the writing areas. You're going to get more feedback from me with your speaking and writing practice test. That's probably your best benefit. You say you have 4 hours a day, right? Now, here's what I recommend right now. 1 hour a day, do this. Take time to read. Read about 45 minutes. You can read magazines, newspapers, and longer books. Number 2, spend about the same amount of time each day practicing listening. You can listen to news, science, documentary, and history programs. Now, get in the habit of note-taking. Make sure you're focusing on the main and the most important supporting points of those reading and listening passages. Then, using your notes, you can do 2 things. Number 1, you can practice writing a summary of those reading and listening passages. Number 2, you can practice orally summarizing the information in those reading and listening passages. If you do that 2 hours a day, that's really going to help a lot with your integrated speaking, your integrated writing, and even your reading and your listening. So you're doing a lot of good practice just by doing that, and you don't need an online course to do that. You don't need a TOEFL book to do that. You just need to have access to reading and listening materials. Now, after you do the reading and the listening, spend about 2 hours a day at my online TOEFL course, or as much as you can take. I know it's tough to study TOEFL. You have to determine how much can the brain take before you get tired during the day. So you probably don't want to do much more than about 2 hours at my online TOEFL course, because it is rigorous study. You're learning a lot of vocabulary. You'll be completing writing and speaking practice tests and all those things. But that would be my advice right now. I know you have 30 days, so you can use that study guide focusing on the speaking and the writing. Do that as much as you can over the next 30 days. And my recommendation is this, is once, after you have done about 3.5 weeks of study, go to the 8th section of my course. That's where you will find my full-length IBT practice test. And you can take a 4.5-hour practice test, and that'll give you a general idea of where you are. What are your current academic English language abilities? And that practice test score will give you an idea. I'll do some analysis of your strengths and weaknesses. You can see where you are. Then you can make a decision if you're ready to take the official TOEFL exam again. Because you're really interested in how will you score when you take my practice test, right? How are you going to score on those 6 speaking tasks and those 2 writing tasks? Then you can see where you are and where you want to be, and are you ready? All right. Anyway, sir, thank you very much for your comments. Again, my teaching assistant, I just sent him your PayPal information, so he will be creating your account so that you can be one of my students in my online TOEFL course. And thank you again for joining my course.